shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What is up, everybody? We're going to have a fun one today. I'm early. It's Andrew Esquire, legal mindset teacher, be your own judge. I'm early because I'm super excited about this one. We're just going to have fun. This is going to be a super fun one where we're going to go through, we're going to clown on Hassan a little bit. We just got done with the fast facts about the dog. I'm going to explain that to Ryan. And then we're going to go into Destiny. We're going to talk about Tiny. We're going to get into all that good stuff. And then after that, we're going to get into the documents. And then lastly, we're going to get into Ryan's Cyber Accelerator program, which anybody who's interested in a remote work job, who's thinking about, hey, how can I make 6 figures remote, should be interested in that. But anyways, I would like to introduce you once again. He's actually returning to the channel, but it's been a long time, to cybersecurity expert and my IRL best friend in the universe, Ryan. How's it going, bro?
Hey man, going pretty well.
Good. No, it's so chat. Today we are gonna have a definite battle. We've already had the chat, so we've already had the poll today of like who's the worst streamer, Destiny or Hassan, and 70% of you think it's equally dumb. But today we need to have a poll. It's very important, and that is whose Mudang is better, right? Do you like option A, like Mudang with the tropical hat, right? Kind of Jurassic Park vibes, or do you like the bucket hat Mudang? I may or may not have gotten my Mudang just specifically for this for this stream. Yeah, Mudang is really like Mudang is still popular here, right? I mean, Mudang is always going crazy.
Yeah, one of the things that's funny about the Mudang is like I feel like the white women took it to a whole nother level. Like with the Asian people, it was like cute, right? They're like, oh, Mudang, and like they're cute about it. But then like you watch these videos and it's like these white women are like obsessively into Mudang. Like they like live their life for Mudang, and it's like it gets to a weird point. It's like, why can't you just keep it like a cute, fun thing,
We're already getting it. Okay, guys. So for advance warning, the swear jar is going to be very full on this one, and this one's going to be pretty crazy. So very much looking forward to that. But yes, we're already getting into the craziness of how white women in Mudang. Oh no! Oh, it's too good. It's too good. King Lugia, thank you for 5 legal mindset memberships, guys. Smash the like button, share this one out. We're gonna have some fun today. Fallen Hero, 1 legal mindset membership. Thank you so much. And Rooney got banned for less than what Hassan did. We'll get into what Hassan did in a second. I've got some video here. So one thing you guys got to realize, so as you're kind of coming in, Ryan is once again, cybersecurity expert. I'm going to go through his CV in a second, but he's my best friend. But Ryan, we don't really okay, it's very important for people to understand this. How often in real life, because we both live in Bangkok, right? How often in real life do we talk about other streamers? How often do we, when we're hanging out, like we were hanging out last night, how much do we talk about other streamers?
I don't think we ever really did. Like maybe once ever in the history of hanging out with you, and it was only in passing, really.
And how long have we known each other now? What, like 2-3 years?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you count the time in the US that we hung out a few times, and then obviously we've been hanging out here all the time. I've been here in Bangkok for like a year and a half, so.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been here in Bangkok for a year and a half, probably known you for a little bit longer than that, then plus the time we knew before. So we've known each other for a very, very long time. And one of the things that I think I want to show everybody today, which is really very evident with these people, is that these streamers are very weird people. And the fact is they try to paint themselves as normal and cool, which is really scary because they are... Yeah, they're anything but normal. Like these people are not normal. They also like do not have friends. Like literally These people do not have friends. So, you know, what I want to show you is like, hey, look, you know, if you want to have a remote job, you want to do something that makes a bunch of money, and you want to do something where you can have friends, you can do whatever you want, right? We're going to talk about Ryan's course. We're going to talk about cybersecurity as it relates to that, right? Do not be like the streamers. Do not know what they're doing. Like, get a practical skill, right? Ryan, do you want to talk real quick about your background in cybersecurity, like how you started out and like where you, like how you got into it?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I was majoring in electrical engineering, and just because I had a mentor that was doing it in high school, like when I was in high school, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I like math, I like logic, I like stuff like that. And yeah, I found out that I really hated it, but I got put on like a dorm that was like all people in IT and different stuff like that my freshman year. And that's how I kind of discovered cybersecurity. I was like, wait, you can get paid to try to hack into companies. That's like kind of cool. So I was like, if I ever changed my major, this is what I would do. So I ended up changing my major to that, but I still didn't really know how to do anything that I would need for the job. So I had to kind of learn it on my own for several years before I could make the transition over to it. But yeah, when I got started in an area called pen testing. It's like offensive cybersecurity. So essentially companies would hire me to try to hack into their websites, into their servers and things like that, just to see if they're actually as secure in reality as they think that they are on paper. And so,
was that usually a big gap? Like typically was there a big gap?
Pretty much always, yeah. And I did that for 10 years for different companies. So like multiple Fortune 500 companies, US government as well, a little bit, and some freelancing. And along the way, I started up a YouTube channel, Elevate Cyber, back in like 2018. And been making videos for like the last 5 years, kind of teaching people on the stuff that I was learning at the time, kind of sharing that out. And then I also, about 4 years ago, started the Elevate Cyber company where I was mentoring and training people, helping them land jobs in cybersecurity from various different backgrounds, from IT to trucking to bartending to like, you name it pretty much. And so helping people get jobs in cybersecurity, both on the offensive and defensive side as well, because there's a core, there's a foundation that you need, kind of like with law, right? It's like, there's many different types of lawyers, but there's core education that all the lawyers go through, right? It's kind of like,
right. So one of the things we're going to talk about, because obviously we're going to talk about today, digital forensics, right? And that's a route you can go down. If you have a background in cybersecurity, you have the basics there, you're able to say, hey, I can go down this road and do this. And you can still make, once again, that's a 6-figure job. Being a professional expert witness is 100% a 6-figure job.
Oh yeah.
Like, and you've helped people who have gone down that road, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Cool. Okay, let me get all these super chats here, these messages. By the way, guys, if you have any questions today for Ryan, for me, for anything about, anything we talk about today, just go ahead and shoot them in. JP Raiden5 for 10. Thank you so much. Hika for another 10. Thank you. Bro Buffett says, greetings from communist Canada. God, we have a buddy who's our other bro, David. Shout out to David, RIP. He's in Canada right now. And, one thing, like Ryan and I, we're our own bosses, right? Like, hey, Ryan, who did you ask last night to go out? Like, who did you get permission from to go out last night?
Oh, we see 2 weeks in advance, I had to fill out this form. No.
No, we just did what we wanted to do. Like, I was done with what I'm doing. Ryan was done with what he's doing. Hey, let's go out. We did, did our work. We just did it on a what was it, Wednesday? I don't even know the days anymore. It was a Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. I think so.
Yeah. It was
not the best person to ask either, but
it was wild. But that's the freedom you have working for yourself, right? And our buddy, he's like, he has a corporate job, and he's like, guys, my corporate job didn't let me take 6 weeks off of work. It's like, no shit, bro. Like, they're not gonna let you take 6 weeks off of work. You just started in August, like, no way. But he just, when you're used to dealing with entrepreneurs, you get used to like people who have freedom, and then you don't really have that when you go down that corporate route. Because you were in corporate for a while too, right?
Yeah, for like almost 10 years. And the cool thing about cybersecurity is even now there's ways that I can still do it without having a 9-to-5 employer, like contract work and things like that.
Right. Okay. Toby1, welcome as a member. Torek says the Hassan Collar incident, I think e-collars can be used to train, but there's a very clear line between training and abuse. We're going to get into that one in a second. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good question for poor man John Doe. Can you remove your digital footprint completely, Ryan? Is that possible?
If you have a child and you never give them access to the internet and you live on an island and they never have any internet connectivity whatsoever, but if you've ever been on the internet at any point, then you're pretty cooked. I mean, there's things you can do to reduce it, but eliminate it, definitely not.
Yeah. Good one. Patrick says, "Wait, when did the dinosaur show up? What dinosaur? This is Mudang. Okay, someone else says Mudang. If you don't know what Mudang is, you're even more of a boomer than me, and I'm so much of a boomer. Like Ryan has a boom mic. I don't know if you've seen this, Ryan, but like in my room, I have a uncompleted Rode boom mic that I need a thread adapter for. But I'm such a boomer. I don't even know where to get one. Oh, it's stupid. Okay, let me see here. What is Mudang? Okay, Google it. You're missing out on happiness in your life. You're missing out on happiness in your life. Toby wants a shout out from Johannesburg, South Africa. Shout out. Appreciate you. MRMC 2003 said takes on the Korean data loss. Oh, did you see that, Ryan? The Korean data center like burnt down and they lost all of their government data.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, I can tell you from working in IT, then if that was the issue, then they screwed up long before that, because you're supposed to have like a failover site. So you're supposed to clone your data, and it should be geographically far enough away to where if there was a natural disaster that you would still have the data available. So
cool. Yeah, they definitely didn't do that. Korea. Even though you're going to be there soon, but I'm going to be there soon too.
Yeah. Sooner than me. Yeah.
Sooner than you, but you'll be there longer.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into the presentation today. And let me show you guys the intro here. So we're presenting on all these guys. We're going to start a little bit of clowning on Hassan, and then we'll get into Destiny. But the main topic is, of course, Destiny's Discord. Okay, so Ryan, have you heard of... Remember, guys, once again, Ryan doesn't know about all the lore, so I have to explain the lore to Ryan. You know, it won't make any sense elsewise. It won't make any sense elsewise. Do you know who Hassan Piker is? Yeah,
I am a little bit familiar.
Okay. So you have seen his disproportionately small head in proportion to his huge body.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he's this communist himbo. I found this insane clip. Have you ever seen his uncle Cenk and him talking about horses?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna play this shit for you. You're not gonna believe it, bro. Like I found this clip and I was like, I cannot believe this is real. So I wanted to show this to you. Hold up. Okay, this is his uncle. So he's Turkish, right? Which is fine. There's a lot of good Turks out there. But this is his uncle Cenk, and this is him talking. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it.
I believe that if I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are giving, you are pleasuring the animal. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Now why? Why did that happen? It's the dumbest thing I've said.
It really is the dumbest thing you said.
No, I'll tell you why. Because was the case that we covered where there was like a guy or a girl or something that was pleasuring a horse, and the horse came to a conclusion, right? So who got harmed?
You know that people who are, okay, look, not to be a downer about what you're saying, because what you're saying sounds kind of funny, but a lot of people who are being raped can actually have an orgasm. So if a guy is being
Hold on. This next part. Okay, wait. Is the picture not gonna load? Oh man. Okay, it's a picture of a dog in a dress there. Ryan, any thoughts on?
I can't believe it's not satire.
No, that's real. That's real. That's
crazy.
Absolutely 100% real.
That's so crazy.
That is 100% real. So, did you see the video of him shot collaring his dog?
No.
Let me show you this. This is the most wild thing. So this is what I just did a video. This video is demonetized. Yes, this video will definitely be demonetized. Guys, make sure you like the video, share it out. We're going to have to clip it and edit it because that's going to get us demonetized, including the being too based. But here's what just happened. This is kind of a hilarious thing with Hassan. And once again, this relates to Destiny insofar as Hassan is the peak arch enemy of Destiny, even though they're politically both on the kind of extreme left. But anyways, poor dog here.
America Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ.
So he shock collared his dog, and then he tried to pretend. This is like the craziest thing. He tried to pretend that it was like a vibrating thing. Because like did you have a dog before?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had dogs too. Yeah, I had dogs too. I never used shock collars on them. Did you? Like, I don't think so. I mean, no, that's not really. It wasn't really a thing. Just did basic obedience training that works for anybody that is patient, right? But he was trying to say, oh, it was just one that vibrates. It was just the one that vibrates. But literally, people immediately on the internet, because everyone's an internet autist, came and found the collar that he was using, did an enhance, and saw he taped over the shock part to hide the shock prongs. Bro, it's like amateur hour. Absolutely amateur hour. Okay. Crazy, man. Okay, so let's get into the let's clown on Destiny a little bit here. Okay. So here's Destiny. Let's go into Destiny. Okay. So you're a little bit familiar with Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's Destiny. So his name is Stephen Bennell II, aka Destiny, aka Tiny. So by the way, is this the first time you actually, no, I'm not going to say, because, okay, there's an inside joke here, Ryan, that like I make that, I'm going to show people my pee-pee and like, it's really powerful. I was going to say, have you seen my pee-pee before, Ryan? But don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. It'll be clipped. Yeah, this is him, aka Tiny. What would you assess? I mean, Ryan, you're a pretty fit guy. I mean, you go to the gym pretty often, right?
Yeah, I would like to say so.
How would you assess Destiny's fitness level?
Dude, it looks like he eats McDonald's every day.
Which, look, I can't talk because, I mean, you're the number one person to clown on me for not going to the gym, which I do now, But, like Destiny, like the thing about this guy and what makes it really hilarious when we get into this guy is, he is so mentally deranged. He has absolutely no friends. He targets, younger women, which is the core the source of this case, right? Is an individual called Rose, who he was sharing spicy adult materials with on Discord. And that's where the leaks come in. That's where the cybersecurity question comes in, right? But really this comes out of his inability to just be a normal person, treat people regularly, and like continually cope. Like, do you know about him and Melina?
Isn't that like she broke up with him and cheated on him or something? Or
She cucked him.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, like, he was, this is one where she's like in the background here. So essentially he was out there getting on Grindr and I'm not making this shit. I don't
know if I'm going to make it through this episode, man.
I know, man. I know. So I know, guys, please like the video for Ryan. Keep Ryan in the game here. Hold on. Let me get some of these super chats. Jethany says Stephen Bennell second. Nah, he's a junior Let's see here. Christian says Destiny also advocated for bestiality in his debate with Trent Horn. Dude also needs to stay away from. Oh my God! I saw there was a human faced sheep that was came out in Turkey, and I was like, is that Hassan's bastard? Also, Jack Choi says Venmo me 10K and I'll report Sasan at Department of Animal Services and DTLA and record it. Parking costs, an arm and a leg when I've got kids to feed. No, 10K. No, I mean, I'll give you maybe 10K like Vietnamese dong, but well, like how much is that in pesos? Like Philippine pesos? Like that's not a lot, right?
10K? Yeah, it'd be like what 7K baht or something probably.
Yeah, it's nothing. So yeah, I'll give it to you Philippine pesos, but I'm not going to give it to you USD. Yeah. So. Oh, and Jack, later, I saw you said that I missed your super chat. I did not miss your super chat. I'm taking them in a very specific order. Very specific order. I'm not missing them. Mr. Camp says, if Destiny and Hassan were both drowning and you could only save one, which flavor of popcorn would you eat? Thanks for that. Mr. Prodoxum said, I vote we put a shock collar on Hassan at max level and shock him when he says something stupid. That would be... King Leader said, Moodang is emergency food. How dare you, sir? How dare you treat a Moodang? Moodang is not emergency food. Moodang is life. Moodang is life. You got to get Moodang pilled. Forget red pill or white pill. You got to Moodang pilled. Spartan says, a happiness from one of the most terrifying 4,000 lab meat missiles in history. Rocket Bull says, sorry, Andrew. I think Ryan has the better Moodang. Okay, let's check the chat.
Oh,
let's check the chat poll. Okay, Andrew has 66%, Ryan has 34%, but we still have we got 2,000 people in the chat right now, and only 600 have voted. So I'm gonna leave that out there. You might still beat me. Kettlefire Charmer Hilta says South Korea's government neglected the most critical and basic lesson involving critical documents, devices, and data. Never store everything in one place and think nothing bad will happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Mr. Rand says, you're going to go for Revenge of the Cinder? Yes, I'm going to do a mock trial. We're going to do a mock trial where we have people for and against that. Put the shot color in Hassan, no mercy. Got it. Was it with these kind of extreme individuals like Destiny, Chink, and Vaush and Bestiality? I don't know, man. Like Ryan, how often have you heard regular people bring up bestiality? Like normal, not streamers.
You know, all this reminds me, do you know, like back in school when we had to read on what you remember those satire sites they used to have, like
yes.
the onion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just like real life now, I feel like.
No, really, like we're in this weird timeline where these streamers are saying crazy shit and it's totally divorced from real life. Like they don't live in real life. They really, really don't. Like Hassan is this Nepo baby who LARPs as a some freedom fighter, but he's never seen shit. Like we know people, I mean, I'm not gonna say who, right? But we know people that have like escaped the war in Myanmar and seen some like real shit, right? It's like there are people out there that have like really seen shit. Hassan Piker is not one of them. Like he is just like complete, he's a complete LARPer. Like he's a complete, joke. Rias Grimori FF XV player says, Andrew, have you seen the video of Suzanne Lambert? No, I've not. Oh, this is a good one. I'll let you answer this one. Out of topic, what are both of your thoughts on the UK's ID checks and the recent Discord leak due to his this as a lawyer and a cybersecurity expert? So have you heard about the UK's digital ID and also the recent Discord leaks?
The Discord leaks, I am not aware of. I've kind of heard some stuff about the ID.
I think they've lost like 2 million. It's like the PII got leaked of like a lot of people. Which, okay, when there's a leak in a company, I know this from a compliance standpoint, there's like massive compliance. Like you have to say like, inform everybody like, yo, your shit's out there. But to be honest, Ryan, like, doesn't this stuff happen all the time really with corporations where they have like massive leaks?
Yeah, I mean, you can observe it pretty much every week. There's another company that is having some kind of breach or something like that. And I will say a lot of the governments tend to be the least secure ones. I know that as someone who used to work for the US government. But all the countries, it's usually like that because, I don't know, for one reason or another, it's like a lot of them, especially in the US, there's a lot of people that just kind of coast at their government jobs, right? We saw that with a big crackdown earlier this year when they were getting all offended about that. I remember when I was testing some websites for the government, there were some websites that looked like you could have built it in the 90s using like MS Paint. But it's just, so a lot of the stuff on the government side is very insecure, which is kind of scary if you think about all of the like fingerprinting and biometric data stuff that the governments are pushing, right? Because with a password, if your password gets compromised, like, that sucks. You can go change it. But if your fingerprint gets compromised, well, you're just kind of screwed then. And that's what's happened in India already. I don't know if you've heard of that a while back.
No, I didn't. So like, India took fingerprints and they got leaked.
Yeah, the biometric database, like where they were storing all that stuff, got compromised. And so they were having some problems with that. So that's like one of the scariest things. What I would always advise is don't use the biometric option unless it's something you really trust. Like, okay, maybe you can do it on like your iPhone or whatever, because that's relatively secure. But
and you mentioned, by the way, we talked about this last night. iPhone way more secure than Android.
Yeah, for a number of reasons. I mean, for one thing, just high level overview. Like the Apple has like literally reconstructed the silicon on the chip in such a way that it prevents certain memory corruption exploits, certain hacks from being able to work. And also, just like the App Store itself is more secure, because the annoying thing about Apple, right, is you have to, it's like annoying to like
in the ecosystem.
It has to be in the ecosystem, and there's all these rules around what apps you can download and stuff. But the upside to that is that you have like less malware and like, you know, dangerous stuff floating around compared to like Android.
Yeah. So, and your number one tip was don't download weird apps, unnecessary apps.
Yeah, just download what you need, because there's always a chance that one of those apps, and I've been seeing this every single week in cybersecurity news, is different libraries, different apps getting backdoored, meaning that someone got access to the code base and then they like inserted some malicious stuff into that, and then people are downloading it, and it's just like massive supply chain attacks going on.
Got it. Guys, it's not the backdoor you're thinking about. Objection. Not that backdoor. So yeah, no, guys, definitely be careful with what you download, okay? Be careful. But yeah, Apple is not right. Apple's not impervious, but once again, it's comparable, right? It's like one versus the other. You have
risk reduction, right?
Risk reduction, right? Mitigation. Eagle says, "I can already see the clips will be legendary." Thank you, Eagle. It's gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. Hika says, "Theory: bestiality is the gateway to political." Like, I just think a poor innocent Mudang. How could you, like imagining like Hassan Piker, like taking advantage of poor and innocent Mudang. I will send him to the wood chipper for Mudang. I'm sorry. I will fight for Mudang. Stay away from Mudang, Hassan. Stay away from Mudang. But Interesting Criminal for 10 says, who needs a cybersecurity expert? Destiny copy and paste random hashes into Excel. Basically the same thing. So
what is the story behind that?
So we're gonna get into the data, but it looks like he just like randomly edited it to tamper with evidence, because the when he was sending BJ videos to a minor, which once again, this is real. Like we're going to it, right? So he's sending his videos, and I'm not sure whether they're BJ videos of him. I can't, bro. Employing a guy or a girl. I'm not sure I think it's employing it, dude. Oh God. Okay. So, anyways, here's the girl. Actually, this is Pixie, who's in the lawsuit. So the documents we're going to look at are involving Pixie. There's Destiny, right? And Destiny has a lot of cope, which we'll get into right before we get to the document, like. Because we talk about cope a lot. Like Ryan calls me out when I'm being like lazy or something else. He'll be like, bro, you're coping so hard right now. But this is a great one. I want to hear if you've heard these before, Ryan. So this is Destiny level cope, okay?
Okay.
So his girlfriend cheated on him. So a normal person, right? When your girlfriend cheats on you, you're heartbroken, right? It hurts you, right? That's normal. And then you recover, right? So this is what Destiny says. My girlfriend didn't actually cheat on me because now I'm suddenly poly and everyone else is an insecure loser because they're not out blowing dudes instead.
Was that really a statement?
Yeah, essentially. It's the Cliff Notes. It's the Cliff Notes.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Next is he abandoned his son Nathan. Poor kid. And the kid is now cuz he's left, right? So the kid went right? So a normal person would be embarrassed that their kid it despises them and would try to salvage the relationship with the son. That's normal, right? Instead, Destiny says that his son is actually jealous because Destiny is talking to and supposedly sleeping with, although I think it's more dudes. Girls the age of his son, including, once again, we've got evidence right now of him exchanging messages with Rose, who's underage. Is that normal behavior to you?
Not in my reality.
And then last, this is great. Someone calls you the F slur. And I'm not going to say that one because that'll get us really, really blurred. The normal reaction, I think, for a hetero guy, for a normal dude, is, okay, either one of two things, I think, right? You either totally ignore it or you throw hands, right? Instead, Destiny gets on Grindr and then records himself with dudes and says, if you don't like watching me do this, you're phobic. I can't make this stuff up. I literally can't make this stuff up. Okay. Let's get into the case here, guys. Actually, let's get some questions and we'll get in the case. Showrose says, Moodang has grown up. Father time awaits your insanity plea, you two. Ryan, promise to ask Andrew to explain insanity plea to you. So these guys, whenever I'm, I've been covering Johnny Somali, right?
Yeah.
Who's, still in Korea, in jail for foreseeable future. But one thing that people were asking me in the original was, well, what if Johnny Somali pleads insanity? Which is not even possible. But now my chat, because I've told them this, does it to piss me off.
They meme me for it. Yeah.
They meme me for it.
Yeah. That's what I figured was happening.
Which is, by the way, like, guys, once again, if you have actual friends, like, that are your real friends, like things that Hassan and Destiny doesn't have, Ryan, how often are we memeing on each other in our private group chat?
All the time.
Like, literally every single day. But yeah,
I have
that's
a dedicated folder on my phone,
I do. It was called cat memes, but now it's just upgraded to the general group chat. Solid says, for 100 Argentina, the Turkish cockroach cries about Gaza as he hurt his own pet. Send Sam Hyde a chocolate and a can of bug spray, then point him towards Chink's nephew's nest and let nature take its course. Let's see here. Hatch and Slay says, can't wait for Moodang to grow up and eat someone. Homicidal river horses, even pygmy ones, are no joke. I think Moodang will always be peaceful. Also, Shempasa said, what's Ryan's YouTube link? Hold on. I got you guys. It's in Ryan's course, which I'm going to talk about later, is pinned in the chat. I'm going to put it in the comments pinned as well. It's also in the description, but his YouTube link also in the description, but that is Elevate Cyber. He is also on X as Elevate Cyber, so you can check that out over there. Once again, great stuff. My best bro, does good stuff, living remotely. And the remote work you've been doing for it's been almost 2 years, right? You've been fully remote, right?
I mean, yeah, out of my 10-year career, I only worked like 2 years in the office, and the rest of the time I was remote.
And you were in Austin, right?
Yeah, I was in Austin before I came here.
Okay, real quick. How would you compare Bangkok to Austin?
I wouldn't even compare Bangkok to Austin. Don't make me do that.
Don't
make me do that, sir.
I'm making you do it, Ryan. I'm making you do it.
Well, I'll say one thing. Like, I thought like nightlife was kind of boring before, and then like I came here and I was like, wow, it's just like on a whole nother level. I mean, everything is just on another level. I have my dad visiting here right now. He's living in Florida.
Hanging out with your dad,
like blown away. Yeah.
And his dad is giga-based. Like, I love his dad. His dad is super giga-based. And your brother's really awesome guy too. And once again, that's why I say, if you guys have a chance to travel, if you guys have a chance to even just visit abroad, not live abroad, but visit, like, you really should consider it. Whether you like Thailand or not, you can go wherever you want. But I would highly recommend coming out and checking out Bangkok. It's an awesome city. Mr. Baird Oxum says, send Angry Cops, aka the influencer. He's an SVU detective on Destiny. That'd be fun. I don't know that influencer. I don't know that guy. I'll have to check. Artemis says, wow, this is the most incoherent Andrew has been in a while since I've watched him the past 2 years. He's been buck back broke. No, it's just, dude, I wanted to clown on these guys with Ryan real quick. And because I don't normally get a chance to, because I keep it very, serious and professional, but I wanted to have some fun on this before we get into this, this legal document. King of Ice said, yay, finally caught a stream. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Let's get into the document. So what we have is this statement of Jesus Pena. So he is the cybersecurity expert for Pixie, who is the plaintiff in this lawsuit. So I'll show this one right here. So here is, this is it. Okay, here we go. So this is Jesus Pena. Let me just read his background here, and I'll blow this up a little bit so you guys can see it better. So I'm Jesus Pena. I'm over 18 years old. I'm the founder of eForensics. I have 24 years of experience. My CV is attached. My specialties, my fields of specialty relate to digital forensics and e-discovery consulting and advisory services, information security auditing, and assessments to law firms, corporations, and municipalities and federal agencies since 2000. My digital forensic expertise includes evidence acquisition, evidence analysis and reporting, and expert witness testimony. As it applies to electronically stored information, ESI, found on mobile devices, workstations, virtual physical servers, routing and filtering devices, and cloud storage and computing. So that's kind of, like information security auditing. That's effectively cybersecurity, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like it's a super broad branch, right? There's so many different ways you can go with it, right? And is this term like ESI, is that pretty common in the cybersecurity field?
I think it's common in forensics. It wasn't a term that I ever used in my niche, but yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's go down to where this is his background. He has a lot of experience, so we're gonna kind of go through that. So this is related to a plaintiff, that's Pixie's, claims under the Intimate Image Protection Act, CARDI, which went into effect on October 1st, 2022, that at least one video of plaintiff and defendant having a sexual encounter was made accessible on the internet by the defendant well after the law went into effect. So saying after this law went into effect, there was a leak and that went out, right? So, and you're familiar with Discord generally, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and I looked into some of this, so I have a pretty good idea of what's going on here.
Cool. Also, Warranty Void, thank you for the 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you. Magma Fox says, hoi hoi, 18 months and I see a guest. Always fun to catch a live stream. Yeah, and it's been a long time since I've had a guest, so I don't bring on many people, but Ryan gets my special attention. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, also, are you familiar with the Kiwi Farms?
In name only.
In name only. Okay, in name only. Yeah, that's actually it's better that way, right? Don't poke the fruit farmers. But
oh wait, that's the leak site, right? There's something about
yes.
leak. That's all I know. Yeah, people leak stuff on there. Yeah.
Yes. So all of people leak stuff on there all the time. It's run by this guy Josh Moon. I don't know whether he's back in the U.S. or not. He was in like Eastern Europe for a while. But essentially, everyone keeps trying to take this site down because it hosts all the leaks. But essentially, the courts have really not been able to do much because it's not it's not in the U.S. right? The guy wasn't even there. And most of the time, it's stuff that was leaked out. So essentially, let's see, 29 of defendants' files were posted to Kiwi Farms by an individual on this Kiwi Farm screen named Solo Tiny Leaks, right? So we had to, this is why I established the meaning of the word tiny, right? Tiny is.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was related. Okay.
It's 100% related. I have seen the pictures. I can confirm that tiny is an appropriate label. So he created an account the same day, and image one, and there's image one attached as an attachment. The leak files originated on Discord, and as can be seen from two of the file names, was spoiler and attached as Exhibit D. The naming convention is unique to Discord and applied whenever an attachment is added, and the user flags it as a spoiler. So this is something. So is this pretty common where the file naming conventions are unique to a program?
Yeah, sometimes on different platforms and stuff, they'll have a certain naming convention to things.
Got it. Okay. So the fact that some of the leak files began with spoiler indicates that the hack files originated from a Discord account that others sent or received the files. In the case, it could have been obtained from accessing Rose's or, this is the key, either Discord account. In defendant's declaration, that's Tiny. In Tiny's declaration, Tiny claims the leak came from the compromise of Rose's Discord account. So he's saying that it's hers, and she's saying it's his, right? So is it possible, Ryan, could you explain, generally how that would go down to discover, okay, whose account it was leaked from? If you were thinking about this problem critically, how would that kind of be attacked?
In terms of if one of them might have been compromised.
Compromised, right? Exactly.
Yeah, there's no, it's always the cat and mouse thing, right? It's if someone hacks into something, there is levels of sophistication to that. So if they really know what they're doing, they're gonna hide the tracks pretty well. But if they're a little bit more careless or more amateur, then there might be some easy indicators. For example, what was the IP address that accessed the account? Like, where was that located? If you see like impossible travel, that's another thing. Those of you working in the a remote 9-to-5 job, you might have had that before, where you turn on your VPN and you turn it off, and then you get hit up by someone at the company for impossible travel. Like, oh, I see you were in Germany and now you're in the US like an hour later. Like, what's going on here? So there's different artifacts like that might spring up, but those are some of the low-hanging ones to look at first.
Okay, so let's pop this thing open. Okay, so here we go. We've got okay, so after defendant's disclosure of the video the video remained on Discord's content delivery network (CDN) until it was deleted by defendant after November 29, 2024. Kiwi Farms post solely time leak. So let's talk about the CDN real quick. So that's essentially saying like the data is stored with Discord on their servers, right? That's what they're trying to kind of explain there, right?
For the most part. Now, the purpose of a CDN is, take us, for example, we're in Thailand. If we wanted to access something on a Discord server, maybe the person that posted the file that we're trying to access did so from the US, right? So the reason that these companies have CDNs is it will copy that file and put it on servers all around the world globally, so that when we try to access it, we can access it quickly, because it's going to be, I don't know, in a server in Singapore for us, right? Rather than having to go all the way to the US and download it across the globe. So it's just a CDN is just servers that are kind of cloning the data out and hosting it around the world, so that wherever someone's located, they can access the data faster.
Does that make it more like less secure inherently though, because the data is out there?
The way they did it, the way that Discord was set up, it was a security issue, and that was what led to this leak.
Right.
As we'll I guess get to in a second.
As we'll get to in a second, yeah. Okay, so between April 9th, 2022, through at least sometime in December 2023, the video had a continuous ongoing posting with unprotected, unrestricted. Guys, you got to have protection, okay? Unprotected, unrestricted accessibility initiated by the defendant by means of either direct use of a uniform resource locator URL, website address, or via queries to any number of search engines. This unprotected, unrestricted accessibility of the video is a result of how Discord implemented storage and access of method attachments on its CDN servers that catch Discord's attachments, right? I'm trying to understand the sentence. I'm such a boomer. Okay.
See the other stuff, the legal stuff, I'm trying to, so hard to understand that. But when you read that, I'm like, okay, that's pretty obvious. Or that's pretty like clear cut.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is the yin yang here, guys. He gets the autistic tech details. You want to maybe explain that a little bit? Like,
so essentially what it's saying, the issue is that, you might have something on a private, this is before, by the way, this is patched now. This is patched as of 2023. But obviously what we're talking about occurred in like 2022, right? Yeah. So at the time, even if you had an attachment on a private Discord server, it would cache it on these CDN servers, right? Remember I said a CDN is basically cloning the data out and hosting it around the globe, so it's easier to access, right? The problem was on those servers, it was publicly accessible. So if you knew the URL, like if you knew the link to the file, anyone that knew that could access that file.
That's so insane. That is so insane.
So it's just like they forgot to think about the permissions on those CDN servers. And if you know and what it's saying about Google and search engines is, if you guys know anything about how the search engines work, they work by what we call crawling the web. So they'll have like bots that will go out and just visit all the publicly known websites and index them. And so if you have any site that's publicly accessible will by default get indexed by Google and the different search engines, Bing and all of that. So because these CDN servers were publicly accessible, they were actually getting crawled and indexed by Google and these search engines. So if you searched it, if you knew the right thing to search, you could even potentially find that video in your search results.
There are so many nudes out there. I guarantee you, like there's so much shit that got out during that. I'm glad I was not using Discord at all during that time.
By the way, there's like a whole like autistic specialization around this. It's called Google dorking. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before.
I mean, I would imagine Google dork is some dweeb who works at Google.
Yeah, just like
beta,
Google, like
Google beta.
Like if you pull up like a Google dork cheat sheet or something,
Okay,
you'll see
okay,
pull that up right now. I'll walk you through that real quick. It's kind of helpful to understand this issue, right?
Like GitHub, yeah.
Yeah. So when most people use when non-autists, well, they could be autists in other ways, but
they're Tylenol Americans. They're Tylenol Americans. All right, guys.
Use the.
I have a Tylenol America emoji. Put it in the chat, guys. Put it in the chat. Use the power of the Tylenol.
People use the web, right? Like we just just Google normal stuff. Like whatever you're trying to Google, you just search that. Well, there's actually all these filters that you could apply to your search to get a lot more granular with what you're trying to find. So you could actually search for just results on a certain website. See the one that says site there? So you could limit your search results to only whatever website. You could only search for certain file types like PDFs or something like that. Or you could look for certain text that occurs on that page. And you can even search from cached stuff as well. So there's all kinds of different filters that you can apply. So realistically, even though it sounds like a bit of a stretch, like, oh, well, no one's going to guess this URL because it's like, it's pretty benign or whatever. Well, if someone really, really wants to, and as you know, like when it comes to people on the internet, there's some people that really, really want to, right?
Yes, I am well aware of this, dude. I am
in place. You can find like pretty much anything.
I'm very, very, very well aware of this. There are people on the internet that are going to go out and are going to look at like the reflection off like your window, right? And like find the general area,
triangulation,
right?
And all that. That's actually an area called OSINT, open source intelligence, which is a sub area of cybersecurity as well.
Yeah. And once again, this is like everything you can do with cybersecurity. It's not just one thing, right? It's really, really broad, right? It's
I think they did that when they found Somali, right? They found him at a park just based off of some benign thing in the background of his video. That's a good example of it there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me get this document back up. And this goes back into, so it kind of gets into what Ryan just explained, but I'll read it out quickly for you guys. So between April 22nd, 2021, right, up until sometime in December 2023, when the vulnerability was rectified, Discord was known to have a significant security issue wherein all attachments sent in messages were permanently publicly accessible from the CDN simply by navigating to a permanent web address that pointed to the attachment. Ruh-roh. See Exhibit C here in a hearing of a Discord community forum post taken from the Wayback Machine. Do you use the Wayback Machine ever to kind of look at stuff?
Yeah, it's good for like this type of stuff where you're trying to find something really specific, especially for digital forensics, because you can go back to snapshots of, the site in previous years, months, whatever.
And the archive titled Privacy for CDN Attachments, where it first describes the issue back in 2021. This major security hole resulted in bad actors using the platform for malware distribution. And by the way, isn't this an insanely long amount of, so you've been doing offensive hacking, you've been looking at issues. Is this abnormal for you to see like over a 2-year gap before they figure they were effed up?
Yeah, it seems kind of strange because this is something that shouldn't be that difficult of a fix, really, from what I gather. But yeah, it looks like they just kind of ignored it or whatever. I know Discord's a little bit of an interesting thing because like it wasn't profitable for the longest time. So I don't know like what they got going on internally there. But yeah, typically for something like this, you would see it fixed a lot sooner.
So again, news was widely distributed under TechRadar, Bleeping Computer, Bitdefender, PC Mag. To address the vulnerability and the issue of permanent accessibility, in December of 2023, Discord implemented authentication enforcement, which basically replaced permanent links to attachments with temporary ones that expire within 24 hours. By doing so, Discord effectively solved the problem of its CDN service hosting malware. Equally important, the change also resulted in the inability of search engines like Google and Bing to index the attachment files, because when the engine's crawlers returned a day or later, the URLs expired and the engines will not be able to find the files to index. But okay, they're not on Google or Bing, but they're still technically accessible if you happen to have the URL, right? I mean, is that not?
Well, now the URL has a parameter, an additional expiration parameter that I guess it's going to either change the URL or validate that parameter in some way before you can access the site. So now there is some kind of protection, or before you can access the file. So now there is some kind of protection on it, whereas before it was just wide open. So now it's actually secured. And by the way, just kind of circle back on the whole malware thing, what was happening. And this is like, if you look at the hackers, you can always see like the severity of the vulnerabilities. Like it probably doesn't, maybe to some people on the surface, that doesn't sound like a huge thing. Like, oh, okay, they can access my file if they know this crazy URL to it, right?
Right.
Well, what hackers were doing was they were using Discord to host malware, like it was saying. So what they were doing was they were putting like malicious attachments on like Discord servers, and then they were deleting them from the Discord, but it was being cached on the CDN. And because the web crawlers that were indexing for Google would find it and put it up there, they found a way to get the malware to rank in the search results. So you thought you were going to get something, but it was something different. It was high up on the search results because they did SEO and all that stuff on it. And you thought that, oh, okay, well, this is a legit file because it's coming from Discord, right? I know Discord. I trust Discord, right? And so
Discord's legit, right?
That.
Discord's legit, right?
Yeah. So that was like kind of how they were abusing it before. But now with the whole expiration thing, it kind of defeats that because it's only going to live there for a certain amount of time, probably not long enough to rank on Google and be indexed and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I was distracted by someone saying whether or not you've seen my Pokemon cards. These oh god, okay, hold on, sorry, I have a brief distraction for the super serious stuff we're talking about. I want to show you this real quick. So these guys literally, this is my chat, they're hilarious. And by the way, shout out to my locals community, they're great, appreciate you guys. They made me a Pokemon card. Legal mindset. By the way, Ryan, how many times have you seen me called out in public?
Surprisingly not that many times, but it has happened a few times.
At least like what, 3 or 4?
Yeah, probably like 3 or 4, but not that many in comparison to how much we've hung out.
Yeah. HP60 Scuff. When you start the game, you must discard all your energy cards and scuff on the back because I fuck up my screams because I'm a boomer. And PP play, which does 9,000 damage. Legal Mindset can stun you with his PP and swear jar. Watch out for random moments of scuff. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys over there in the Discord, the locals. You guys are based. Appreciate that. Always trolling me over there on locals. Much appreciated. Okay. So, and I'll get these super chats here. Big Buddhist for 5. Thank you so much. And Jack Choi says, shout out to Johnny and Hank. Anything, the Brokeback Mountain duo there. Also, MRMC 2003 says, Ryan, what do you think about the Microsoft recall?
Oh,
you're laughing.
Man.
You're laughing right now.
Man, that is such a terrible idea in every way.
What
last year, are you familiar with Microsoft?
No, I'm not. Let me know what's happening right now.
Really? So Microsoft. No. Okay, this whole thing started about a year ago. Maybe I think it was last year in June. Microsoft thought it was a good idea to have I think they called it AI technology at the time, but basically all it was doing was it was constantly taking screenshots of your screen. Like when you're just going about your day, just using your computer, it's constantly taking screenshots and saving it to a folder on your thing. And their idea is that, oh, you'll be able to search for anything that you like. The whole use case was like, okay, let's say you're browsing the web and you're like, oh, I was on this one site and it was so spicy and I want to visit that site again, but I forget what it was called. You can search it up and it'll be like, oh, this is what it was. Like anything you're doing on your computer, it would, you could search like the screenshots, the text on the screenshots to find like the file or whatever. It would recall what you were doing before, help you recall what you're doing before. And I don't know how they overlooked this, but they never thought about the fact that sometimes you're typing sensitive information on your computer, like passwords or different stuff like that. And it didn't care. It was just dumbly just constantly taking screenshots of all your stuff. So it was like a massive security issue. And there were like all these cybersecurity researchers that were just like hammering away at this stuff and finding like all of these issues like that. And they, it was so bad that they actually recalled Microsoft Recall for a while. And I thought that they were gonna just abandon the project, but they did like bring it back. Now apparently it's more secure or whatever, but I don't know about you. I don't want my computer like taking screenshots of like all the stuff that I'm doing and saving that to some
Hell
folder
no.
on my computer. So
Hell no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let me get it back to the document here. And Mr. MC, by the way, says thank you for the breakdown, Ryan. Appreciate that. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so Discord generates new temporary URLs with authentication enforcement in the background, which appends some parameters to the old URL style to identify the expiration date. The new style temporary creation link appears only in the background only if the recipient or sender of the attachment views the message with the attachment. At that time, Discord's application programming interface, API, will render the message on the application screen and automatically creates a temporary link. What is important to note is that once the authentication enforcement went into effect, any old style URLs became obsolete and the attachment were no longer reachable by the old style URL, but the attachments physically remained on the CDN core and CDN servers. Well, can you explain this part to me? The CDN core and CDN servers? Yeah.
So what it's saying is that the links were invalid, but the file itself still resides on the CDN server.
Okay, but the link itself is invalid.
The link itself is not a valid way to access that file, but the file itself still exists.
Got it. Of importance is that both before and after the implementation, if an attachment was removed by the sender, i.e. defendant, that's Tiny over here, it would delete from the Discord core servers and then from the CDN cache. So deleted by the defendant, and then it's deleted by the servers and the cache, right? Back to the video file. Solo Tiny Leaks appears to have obtained it from Rose. Bro, I'm never gonna stop laughing at that, bro. It's great. And wait till we get to the messages, bro. We're not even into the messages.
Oh man.
We're not there. Nano says for 2, Recall made me a Linux user this year. What are your thoughts on Linux, Ryan?
I mean, honestly, yeah, Linux is great. It's like really solid, but the problem is it depends on like what you're trying to do. Like certain things are more manual. If you have certain issues, then it really requires like I wouldn't recommend it for the general person, but if you really like nerd out on tech and you don't mind troubleshooting stuff, then it is a pretty good option. And if you don't need certain Microsoft programs.
Okay. So Solo Tiny Leaks obtained it from Discord account in November 2024. The attachment was stored on the servers between August 22 and November 24 and remained accessible to Rose until it was deleted by defendants sometime after November, which, by the way, this timeline's looking a little suspect at this point based on the filing of the lawsuit. However, it was also publicly accessible via the permanent link and reachable by the index engines between April 9th through early 2003. Although the length of the permanent URL made it virtually impossible for anyone to guess it, nevertheless, dissemination and propagation likely occurred through search engine indexing. Although search engines do not index video or audio content itself, it does index multimedia files metadata, which can be rich in information. Could you explain what that would be, a multimedia file's metadata?
So metadata you can think of as just data about the data. So anything to do with like maybe the file type, the length of the video, if it's like a video, anything that describes the actual multimedia file. So that could be like sensitive information, like the creation time, all the details about it, pretty much.
Scruff McDuff says, "Good evening from Okinawa. Going to sleep now. La La man, say handsome. You too. You too. Be handsome. Well, let's all be handsome." Robin the Hood says, "Ryan, well, this is definitely for you. Ryan, do you recommend a password manager? If so, which one?"
Yeah, for sure. Because, one of the first things that someone will do if they do compromise like one of your passwords is they're going to try it everywhere. So if you're using the same password for every website, then you're at more of a risk, because then if they guess what other sites you use, they'll just have access to that. Now the challenge without a password manager is how are you going to have different passwords for everything if, and remember them, because let's face it, we have so many different accounts nowadays. Everything requires an account, right? So yeah, I would recommend a password manager. Which one? I would say it doesn't matter too much. you might want to stay away from ones that have been hacked a ton in the past, like things like that.
I think that's pretty good advice.
That's the one thing that I would look at. But the biggest thing, though, with a password manager is not necessarily which one you go with, but how strong is your master password. Because if you have a weak master password, then it's actually worse than not having a password manager, because, you know, if someone gets access to that, they just have access to everything. So just make sure you choose a really solid master password. My recommendation would be to, you know, generate something like super complex and just write it down. Don't store it on any electronic devices. Just
notebook, maybe, right?
Yeah. Just kind of the same thing with the seed phrase thing, right? It's like, don't store it digitally, you know, for something like that, because it is like the keys to the kingdom. So that would be my advice.
Jack Choi says, Arch Linux for the win. All my homies use Arch.
Yeah, that's the most hardcore one. So
that's
he's flexing on us a little bit here. Yeah.
I see. Okay. I objection. Flexing today. No flexing today. Scrub it up for 10. Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Hack and Slave for 10 euros says, if the crawlers can still find the links to the files, even if the file links become inaccessible in the 24-hour period before they're added to the search engine, aren't the files still accessible? That's
the files are going to be, I think, accessible for that duration of time, that is true, right? It is a little bit of a Band-Aid fix in a sense, because like technically, yes, it sounds like that within the 24-hour period, it is still publicly accessible. So maybe something to keep in mind. But the crawlers, it depends on the frequency of the crawlers. I don't think they would. I don't know if that would be enough time for it to index the actual file, because the crawlers, think about it, if they're crawling the entire internet, how often are they hitting that page really? It might be only once every 24 hours, or maybe even once every few days. So those would be the things.
It takes time, right? It takes time for them to get back to it. This fucking question, right? I know what they're trying to ask, but this question, Kay asked for 5, says, I just got back from a trip to Phuket. Have you been to Phi Phi Island? It's very nice. What you're saying? Okay. Have we been to Phi Phi Island, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have been to Phi Phi Island. We say Ko Phi Phi here. Ko means island here, but
yeah.
Oh God, that's gonna get clipped. Okay, Doug Diaz for 10. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, please say thank you to all the very based members gifts today. It's been great. And guys, say thank you to Ryan in the chat. Make sure you give some love. Go over to his channel, Elevate Cyber. We'll be talking about his course later on for those that are interested in this and getting the knowledge that Ryan has and living remotely and hanging out. Maybe you can hang out with us in Bangkok. Brain Ding for 5 Canadian says, hey, Hacker Man, how strong is my password 123456? 123465. See what I did there? Take that, HackerBots. Lamisa, member for 3 months. Greetings from Arch Linux, coding and listening in. Cool. We got a lot of very hardcore people in the chat.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's why I told you it's up your alley. As a result, up until December 2023, search engine queries could have easily stumbled upon the video simply by searching for keywords that matched the index metadata. No need to guess the URL. Therefore, while it is definitely not definitively known to Google, if Google ever indexed the video, it is highly likely scenario, as seen from the fact there are confirmed cases of search engines having indexed content on the Discord CDN servers, such as Zscaler 21 to 22. Do you know, have you heard of this one? I've never heard of Zscaler.
I have not. I'm not familiar with this one.
Okay. Zscaler's Threat Labs reported that Discord CDN was exploited for malware distribution with permanent
the
links.
Malware thing that I was explaining earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were hosting malware. Okay. Trellix says Trellix noted over 10,000 malware complaints using their CDN, some of which were indexed by Google. Yeah. Nice. Nice job.
And that's probably the only reason they finally got around to doing anything about this in 2023 is because there was like a big malware thing going on with Discord before.
In short, the post on October 1st, 2022, ongoing dissemination accessibility occurred because the video was not deleted until after November 29, 2024, and there was active and permanent URL that pointed to it through December 2023. Moreover, search engine indexing crawlers from Google, Bing, and others were known to index Discord CDN servers. In conclusion, by defendant's own admission, he used Discord to send the video as an attachment, and there were no protective measures in place to safeguard his and the plaintiff's privacy, such as the platform used to send the video would encrypt while transmitting, or the platform would store attachments in an encrypted state and require authentication, and or the recipient would give assurances that it would be safeguarded. The Discord vulnerability related to the attachments being publicly available should have been considered by defendant, as it was known in the Discord community for an entire year before he sent the video. So what he's trying to say is, and this is kind of the argument here, Ryan, is that he should have known that Discord was not secure, right? So
Yeah.
how do you feel about that argument?
Who made the argument?
So the cybersecurity expert is trying to say that Tiny, i.e. Destiny, should have known about this because it was disclosed. So you should have known not to send spicy stuff on Discord. Do you think that's a fair argument?
Yeah, it's pretty fair. I mean, you could like Google the stuff and you can find like you can find this information, I would say.
So guys, don't send your spicy stuff on Discord. Don't do it. Or just don't send.
Oh yeah, and I think that circling back real quick to the one question about the 24-hour thing, I do believe that it was mentioned in this document that since that change in 2023, there was some kind of authentication. I know it mentioned authentication, so I don't know that that could be accessed just having the URL alone anymore. I could be wrong about that, but it sounded like.
Let's get these. Pete says Slackware, slacking since 1993. Other man for Canadian 5 says, shout out LastPass for having a free password generator and 2FA app. Oh, you do?
I use the password generator all the time. It's pretty nice for generating just like a random password.
On LastPass?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I was recommended to use LastPass.
Yeah.
The latter is more to avoid a Wendigoon situation. What's Wendigoon?
I'm not sure, man.
I have no idea. But hey, good suggestion there. Very good suggestion. Okay. So defendant's evidence mismanagement and consequent unreliability. A few of the pleadings would indicate the defendant's ESI was not collected and preserved in a forensically sound manner. This failure constitutes a critical deficiency. A principle of digital forensics dictates that the cryptographic hash values must be generated at the time of collection to ensure the integrity and authenticity of data. Does that make sense to you, Ryan?
Yeah, this is actually like the core of digital forensics. It's you're supposed to, like when you collect the evidence, you always have to generate a hash of all the files and stuff like that. I actually prepared something really brief, if you don't mind, if I can.
Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
I can
knock
just
it out,
in layman's terms give you guys the rundown of like what a hash is and like why that is the requirement in digital forensics. So if you can imagine with like digital stuff, one of the challenges with it is like compared to like physical stuff, it's a lot easier to change digital documents and stuff like that, right? You could just like type something new, like erase it and type something new, right? So the challenge is like, how do you know that it hasn't been tampered with? And that's
which is super important for the court, by the way. What Ryan's saying right now is literally what we call with authentication of documents in the court, right? And in documents, you have to do that to get it entered into evidence, right? And the problem is a lot of judges are boomers and they really don't understand this, but this is why it's a opportunity for people that are looking for somewhere to get into this and specialize in that, like that niche of cybersecurity. But go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. And let me see, share screen. I don't know.
Yeah. It's on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
You're going to present. There you
go. Gotcha. Okay, here we go. Chrome tab, this one. Yeah, so the main way to do it is called hashing. So a hash is going to generate a unique value for every piece of data, I guess you could say, any message. Like if I type a message here, right? Like I'm just going to type one. I'll zoom in a bit here. Let's say this is my message. If I take any hashing algorithm, so I'm going to take MD5, but the hashing algorithm doesn't really matter for what I'm trying to explain here. You might be familiar with like SHA-256 or something like that. That's one of the most standard ones. But if I just go with MD5 here, you can see that for this message, it generated this like string here, this value. And the significance of this is that every single time, if I type this sequence of characters, I will always get this exact value here. So like if I just like refresh my screen and I don't know, if I just retype this, it's the exact same one as before. Now, the significance of this is that if I take a hash of this right away and it ever gets changed in the future, and I could literally just add a space at the end of this, and it will completely change the value of the hash.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if anything, and this is just with this text here, if we apply, you could apply this to a document, you could apply this to any file. And if one single byte is changed, if one bit is changed, if any, like the smallest denomination of altering a file occurs, it will completely change
the output,
the value of the hash.
Wow. Okay. Got it.
So that's the significance there. So that's why in digital forensics, they always need to hash all of the evidence beforehand, because that way they can definitively tell if there is any change made whatsoever.
Got it. Perfect. Mr. Paradoxum says for $4.99, it's a no-brainer not to put that kind of stuff on the internet, period. The act of sharing it is all on Destiny. Yes, it is all on Destiny. That is absolutely right. And, he shared it with, once again, a minor, too. We'll get into that. Without these unique digital identifiers, there's no reliable method to determine if the data set has been altered or compromised at any point after its initial collection, right? The principle is a cornerstone of digital forensics. Soja gets in and explains that. So then says there's a significant evidence of apparent document tampering related to Tiny's document production and is evidence submitted in support of his motion to dismiss. The first instance relates to an excerpt of Discord messages from defendant's Discord, Bates, and this is the reference, right, which was prepared after January 17th. The corresponding was a snapshot taken from the account. Okay, I'm going to read this, and please try to keep it straight. Chat, behave yourself. We're all adults, and we're reading adult stuff, okay? Okay? So Destiny... Remember, I'm pretty sure he's talking about... Anyways, I'm pretty sure he's talking about men, but whatever. Destiny says, I don't think I have much BJ stuff recorded. Rose, the minor, says it's fine. Destiny says, ooh.
No, I was waiting on the hee.
Yeah. It's fine. I can't, bro. I'm cooked. I'm so cooked right now.
You're gonna get clipped to oblivion.
I'm gonna get clipped. Yeah, we're done, bro. Destiny said, "Ooh, there was a girl once. She was young and she was kind of new, and it wasn't that good." Well, there's a better version of this. We could pull up in a second. There was a girl once. She was young and she was kind of new and wasn't that good, but she would just hold on to me and tongue the head a lot, which actually ended up feeling good. Lol. But no cum shot. Do you want the video? Good time to drink water, Ryan. Rose, the minor, once again, says, I love it. Oh my G. And then response, what is it? 833, right? 833 says, that was amazing. I can't wait to blow you now. Once again, this is a minor, right? He's talking to a minor. And that says, ooh, well, good. Rose says, I love hearing you moan. So that's, and once again, there's two different time zones here, right? So it's 8:33 p.m. I think it's Eastern, and then she's somewhere else, right? So it's 1:33 a.m. for her, right? So in theory, both conversations have been collected at the same time. The content would be identical. However, that was not the case. The version from defendant's side is conspicuously missing the video attachment that was originally sent on April 9th at 8:36 p.m. However, pursuant to defendant's declaration, upon plaintiff's request, defendant removed the video in late November 2024, which explains why it's missing from the chat history, right? So you see here from the defendant's production, right? That video is missing. It's not there anymore, right? Not there. There's apparent sign of tampering in the message wherein she comments to have viewed the video before its documented arrival. So, when she's saying, where is it? When she's saying, that was amazing. I can't wait to blow you, right? That's at 8:33, but he claims it was sent at 1:36, which is really 8:36 in the local time, right? Which is physically impossible. So he messed with things. He messed with things. It does not appear that Rose somehow came back and edited the message after viewing it. The only way to update a message from a Discord user is for the owner to delete or edit, in which case the edit would have appended to the message, but no such qualifier is seen. This temporal and logical inconsistency serves as apparent indication of post-Discord export manipulation. That's when he was exporting it, he was messing with it, right?
Yeah, and I think it was like a HTML file or something. It said that converted into a PDF. Can I show you guys something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Just really briefly here.
And here's something real quick. Here's the identifiers down here. I think cool. In a Google Doc, right? But I'll let you share screen.
Yeah, let me find that. So just going back here, right? Like with HTML, it's super easy to tamper with anything. So you see this website here. This is all
hold on. There you go. I got you.
Okay, cool. This is all just HTML in my browser. So like if I just like pop open like the dev tools real quick, like I can change any of this on my screen very easily. I'll show you how easy, right? Like where this says input. I can change this to legal mindset.
Legal mindset.
Now it's legal mindset. So if it's coming from HTML, like you can easily like modify any of that and export it into a PDF afterwards. I don't know if that's what happened, but that's just one thing I wanted to show.
Got it. Okay. Jack Choi says Dr. Disrespect be like, and they banned me for less. Guys, once again, this is all wild stuff. And this is why I say Destiny's in some serious trouble, because if he's tampered with evidence on top of the fact he's talking with a minor, on top of all the other stuff he's doing, this is some serious problems for him. And once again, these parties, and we talked about the personalities in the beginning, both Destiny and Pixie are set on not settling with each other. They hate each other. So this is going to go to trial. So this expert witness is going to be testifying, it appears like at the eventual trial. And the problem is that I don't think Destiny has a digital forensics expert, and he's now going to need one, a person that once again could be trained by Ryan's course. We're going to talk about that later, but like he's going to need a digital forensics expert, and there just aren't that many, it's going to be hard to find one that's going to back up his side of the story to show that he did not tamper with this. So, okay, let's get into the second issue, and that is the second spoliation issue. That means tampering with evidence, is when defendant appears to have manually transposed content from a Discord chat with the screen name InBloom1991, right? The timestamps and Google file identifiers on the chat history do not match the same as the list of defendant's prepared media files under the screen name AbbyMC. So there's a mismatch here, I guess. And here we're looking at this. So the link doesn't match up, right? Let me just read some of this though. This is hilarious, right? I gotta read Destiny's chat. Good mornings. Good morning. Be good. Be careful. Destiny says, I'm always careful. Okay. I don't mess around with BPD girls anymore. Okay. Objection. Lucky I'm not BPD. God have a hell of a lot else, but we'll work it out just fine, I think. How many red flags is that, Ryan?
I don't have enough fingers.
I wish I could jump on top of you right now. I got a couple new vids of me trading head with someone. Do you want? Yes, please.
I've never heard that phrase.
Bro, trading head. That you know what that means? You know what that means, Ryan?
Complete degenerate.
Hold on. I gotta. There's an anime girl to explain. I got anime girls for almost everything. Where's my degenerate? I've got a degenerate one. Where is it? Here you go.
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
Trading head. Okay. Let's just. Leprechaun go for 50. Thank you so much for the generous one. Very base. Thank you so much for that support, guys. Like the video, like the channel, go like Ryan's channel, Elevate Cyber. We're gonna be talking about what he does in a second with his training. But thank him for coming out here. He's been awesome. And like I said, Ryan is my 100% best friend. So, just give him some love. Give him some love. If you appreciate me, you can appreciate Ryan. And we'll try to get his channel to maybe like you're at 27K subs on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Let's get him to 30K. Let's get him to 30K. The more evidence of tampering, the Google Drive links that Benel sent to Abby, that's Benel's tiny, in the two chat threads are not actually the same links. The highlighted links below are from ECF, and non-highlighted links are from ECF 132. Because labels are provided to them. So essentially, the URL links were bunk, and that's going to be used against him, right? Let's see. The assertion that his previously his preserved communication logs with ABMC conclusively established that he never transmitted the video to her is not reliable evidence because it appeared to be tampered with. So Destiny's line that, hey, I've shown you the logs, this is enough, is not enough, because when you look at the actual data underlying that, when you look beyond the surface, because once again, Destiny and Hassan, these are guys that Wikipedia everything, they Google everything. They think they're so damn smart, right? They think they're super smart, right? But they're going to screw up on a detail like this. Like, this is a detail that you need to be an expert, right, to really catch, right, Ryan?
Yeah, for sure.
And even somebody who's like generalized in cybersecurity might not catch it if you're not specialized in perhaps digital forensics. And I'll read this last part here, which is, finally, I've noted that Benel states because the original file name of the video, as revealed by Solo Tiny Leaks, is not the same as either of the file names. That proves he never sent the video to ABMC. But Benel is comparing apples to oranges because two file names in ECF that he purportedly sent to Apple MC are not file names. Instead, they are Google Drive link URLs, which merely point to unknown file names. Whoopsie. So under penalty of perjury, signed off Jesus Pena. So that's that document. Now there is an amended statement here, guys, which just corrects a little bit that came in today. Let me show you guys that. It just provides some background, and I want you guys to know that I obviously consider all of the evidence, here in the Legal Mindset. But it goes into further background on the delay, right? Which the delay of the video, where it ascertained that he sent it later, right? He changed the time, was actually 8:36. I think previously it was 8:38, right? So they clarify here. This is the video where she's saying, "Oh my God, love it," and you can't say, "Oh my God, love it," "Oh my G," unless you've seen the video, right? It's pretty obvious. So this obviously does not line up. So that's the main thing there with that. So guys, that's that part. So now we're going to talk. I want to, transition there. I mean, do you have any thoughts on this overall, Ryan? And kind of the necessary, like how necessary is it for the digital forensics expert?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it seems like the main takeaway is that like he didn't actually, his team or whoever didn't collect the evidence properly, so they didn't do the hashing. So anything that he says it's not going to be like, from what I understand from the legal side, it's not going to be permissible in court. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, because they can't really, they have no way of knowing if that's the original data or not.
So let me reinstate that, guys. What Destiny is saying is likely inadmissible. So all this shit that Destiny's been talking, because he's been running his little mouth, right, thinking he's so damn smart, thinking he's like the king of the world. He's not. He has no friends. He's a loser, right? He's mentally, he's got something going on, right? He is not, a lot of this evidence, he may not be able to admit into court, right? It may be inadmissible. That's a massive problem for Tiny. He's going to have huge issues here, right? And the only way to counter this is to get his own expert, which he doesn't have. There's not many of them, but he doesn't have this expert witness. This is massive. Jack Choi says, "Alizations." Shout out to actual SJW. Thank you. Okay, Ryan. So next, we're going to go into talking about Ryan's course, which is why I want to bring him here, because I wanted to, in addition to helping me out with this, Ryan is an absolute Chad at entrepreneurship. He's a great salesman. He's a great guy, and he put together a course called Cyber Accelerator, right? And that's your course that you bring people through to go and to transform themselves within 6 months, a year, right?
Yeah, about 6 to 8 months for most people. I mean, the program itself is for a year, but typically I see 6 to 8 months for someone just starting out.
Cool. So the biggest thing, and I'm gonna share this slide, and you're gonna kill me for these the photos that I'm showing here. Is most people ask you're gonna kill me, and there's also James is gonna kill me. But the biggest thing guys ask is, Andrew, how can I live like you? How can I live that good remote work life, right? And just to prove, guys, that we're really friends and really working remote, you got to live that life. You got to live that life. Ryan, you remember all these photos? You got to live that good remote work life. Whether you're herding buffalo, you're visiting beautiful temples, or perhaps dressing up like a polar bear or a panda, whatever the fuck that thing was. I'm not really actually sure what that is. It's an abomination. But the biggest thing is to have a income that can make you live a remote work life. Because if you want to be a miserable streamer and you want to be like tied somewhere, you want to be miserable 9 to 5, you could continue doing that, or you want to be unemployed. But a lot of people, they really just want to, do what we're doing, right? They want to come and, live. Maybe they don't want to live in Asia. That's fine. I don't say everybody should come to Asia, right? You can live in South America. You can live anywhere you want to live. Eastern Europe. You can live in the U.S. Move to a different state. Get Starlink.
Move to the swamps.
The swamps. So, how would you say, Ryan, for you? Because I've shared my experience, but what is it like having by the way, who said that's a cow? This is not a cow. Let's be very clear. This is a buffalo. This is a buffalo, okay? This is a buffalo of Isan. This is a very special buffalo, right? You have to tend it when it's sick. It gets very sick, and you have to tend it. Also, James, ignore our homeless Korean-looking friend who's probably richer than Hassan Piker, because the secret is real rich people don't dress fancy. They dress like bums, so nobody knows. But shout out to James, super based. But anyways, with working remote, can you explain how freeing that is, and kind of the feeling and just the benefits of having that lifestyle?
Yeah, it's a little bit more than you would think at the surface, because it's a lot of the little things too, right? I mean, just like you said the other day, just having the freedom to be like, hey, you want to go out tonight? Yeah, sure. And or even whenever we've planned many trips together too, where it's on a whim, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go here Vietnam in next month. Do you want to go? Yeah, sure. And there was no okay, well, let me check with my boss. Let me see. Oh, I make jokes with you all the time. Remember, you asked me to go places. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I have enough vacation days. Let me check. Right?
Yeah, man. Oh, man, I'm gonna have to take all that PTO. I'm gonna have to call in sick. But we've been to Vietnam. We've been to the Philippines.
Our friend James is a good example too, right? Because he has a remote job within. I think he works in finance, right? And he has a remote job, something you could do with cybersecurity as well, where even if you are working for a 9 to 5, if you can get that set up where you're working remotely, then you could do something like he does. And he meets us out all the time too, because he works the US hours and stuff like that, and lives in the Philippines. And he has a lot of freedom and flexibility because he's fully remote. He can travel and come to Thailand and go to the different places and just get the work done in between as well.
And here's the other thing too. People don't believe me on this, but you can live on a pretty austere budget. In the beginning, I remember, I know a lot of people here can live on you can live on 2 or 3K if you really wanted to USD.
That's what I'm doing now, man. I don't know what your case is, but
well, that's why we're trying to get you some sales here, bro. But
no, yeah, you totally can. And that's the thing too. It's in America, you have to make so much, depending on your state, you might be having to make a ton. I think if you're in New York City, it's you got to make 10K just to live like an average person. Here, when Andrew mentioned the 2 to 3K, that's not 2 to 3K and I'm getting by. It's 2 to 3K and I'm living really comfortably,
King lifestyle. You can have a good apartment, good neighborhood.
Good apartment. My Mudang has a bucket hat. Everything's going well,
Yeah, Mudang is pimped out. Yeah, exactly. You're getting all the somtam you can eat. Yeah, no, it's like it's a balling lifestyle, and like it's super. It's freeing. It's freeing to be able to do that. And the biggest barrier is money, is being able to make money and find a job and do something. And everyone would used to have to resort to English teaching. And I can tell you, as somebody who even did that part time for a second, you don't want to do that, right? That is not the path, right? That's not the way. And cybersecurity, like the average, can you kind of give like the average like salary expectations or ranges for cybersecurity and the people that you've seen?
Yeah, so I'll start off with like what you can expect when you land your first job in cybersecurity. So typically that will be anywhere from like 80, and this is all in US dollars, by the way, anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000. Personally, for me, I started at 80,000, but the biggest benefit I would say is that you can increase that salary super fast. So for me personally, and for a lot of people that I mentored, within like, let's say a year and a half, which is why it's so important to keep upskilling yourself and keep learning. Because if you don't, then it might be a longer timeline or a lot harder. But if you keep learning, then, a year and a half in, you could get up to 100K or, for me, a year and a half later, I got from 80K to 100K. And then a year and a half after that, from 100K to 166, that was a really big bump that I had. And then, a year later, I got that up to 200K. And that wasn't even the top end, by the way. That's just when I ended the 9 to 5 stuff. But, I looked at some job postings by like Stripe, the payment processor, and several other companies as well. I've seen this multiple times where they were advertising in the 300K range for an analyst. So I'm not even talking about working in management. Of course, you can go into cybersecurity management and make like the real big bucks. But even if you stay on like the technical side, doing some stuff like we're talking about here, digital forensics, or even the offensive side, like I did, you could even get up to the 300K range at the top
easily.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. And once again, guys, this is real stuff. This has really happened. You've trained people. You have how many successful people that have come out of your program so far? I mean, it's quite a number.
Yeah. There's been, I think, over 180 people that have went through my program in the past 4 years.
180 people, guys. This is not something that he's making up. This is not something that's BS. He's up 180 people do this, including people, by the way, of all ages. You've got people that are, just coming out of college
that are in there too, and people coming out of college. Yeah.
So even a retiree, like let's say you want to retire somewhere and you want a job to, something you can still do remotely and it's flexible. You make your own hours. You can still do that, right? Like, Vince was in there getting in there.
Yeah, Vince. I was going to say Vince. Yeah.
Vince, like Grandpa Vince, like he's out there learning, right? And so you can do this at any age, or if you have like have a younger person in your family, instead of saying, hey, you can go spend all this on this, all these degrees and get all these PhDs. No, get some practical training in something that will actually make you money, right? Like for real. And the community here, especially in Bangkok, is really great for the like hacking community and cybersecurity. In fact, we're going to have, I'm going to go to lunch with my friend tomorrow. Hopefully you can make it, Ryan. Yeah, for sure. But like the community here is really awesome for it. And when you see them, they're all successful people that are making money, right? Which is really pimp. Mr. Paradox says Destiny is a POS, is POS prisoners. And Cuz gonna love him. Oh no. Mike Middleton says, didn't know you met Olivia Juliana in the wild. The Buffalo. Grampus says, hey, Andrew just got up from surgery. Let's go. Just a hernia or nothing. Well, I'm glad you're all right. So let's talk about your program and what you offer as part of this program, Ryan. So you have live and on-demand training. So it's 4 live trainings a year, right?
Yeah. So I base those around like the trends that I'm seeing in the industry and also like the core topics. Cause just like we were saying earlier with law, there's so many different specialties that lawyers go into, but there's the core set of knowledge that they all are trained on. So we touch on all those core areas. And I base it off of the fact that, in my career, I've been on the other side where I'm interviewing candidates and things like that. And I'm seeing like, one of the issues that I see people run into is almost everyone has like identical looking resume. They have the same things on there. And that's why people are saying that it's so difficult right now. It's impossible because they're all like carbon copies. So I also not only have the core stuff in there, but the things that are going to help you stand out, which is things like digital forensics, things like cloud security. We're going to be doing a training on AI security. We're going to be hacking AIs. Yeah, we're going to be hacking AI chatbots and stuff like that. So if you're familiar with like ChatGPT and stuff like that, we're going to actually look at it from a security perspective. How can we break it? How can we hack it? How can we secure it? So I'm going to be doing that one next month, actually.
That's really cool. Spider Bro says, just cut up. And yes, I do refuse to do anything sensitive on my streaming computer because I recall I've tried searching for it to disable it and Microsoft has it hidden and I've looked elsewhere but can't find it.
See, that's the annoying thing about Microsoft. They will have all these things where it's like some things you might not be able to even turn off. Now, I don't know if that's the case with Recall, but you could think that you turned it off, but there could be certain things running in the background that might not have any simple way to turn off. That's the reason, by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, Andrew, but there is a Windows Government Edition. And the reason for that is that there's so much spyware and BS on like the basic version of Windows that you cannot disable, that the government took a look at it and they're like, oh, hell no. They're like, if you want us to use your product, you're going to have to custom create us a version of Windows that doesn't include any of that. So if they're saying that, then you know there's a lot going on in the background, right?
Marcus X for 5 says, hey, legal mindset, the police in the U.S. are not obliged to protect the citizens of the country, according to Castle Rock versus Gonzalez. Scary. That's a very specific case. There's a lot going on there, but maybe a little bit an overly broad statement. But there are always exceptions, guys. You have to remember that in the law. Also, this is a good one here. CCPD Tech says there are tons of remote jobs who say they are hiring to look good to shareholders, but hire very few people, if any. Be wary of remote job postings online. Some of them are also scams. Well, that's part of what you help people with, right, Ryan? Is for sure, sorting through the BS, right? Okay, so you have over 240 hours of on-demand video, right?
Yeah, because I've been running the program for 4 years now, so every course that we've ever done is on the platform as well, so people can go back and watch those. And that's the on-demand aspect of it. So you got the live where you can ask questions on the call and everything like that. But then you also have the recordings.
So then you have the lab environment, which essentially is like where you're developing your practical skills, right?
Yeah, applying that hands-on and learning how to actually do the job. Because that was a challenge, like I said earlier in this stream, was like when I was learning this stuff in college and getting the cybersecurity degree, I couldn't even start in cybersecurity. And the reason for that is I didn't have the actual skill set. I had some theory and mostly outdated theory, if I'm being honest, but I didn't have the skill set. So that's why I incorporated the lab environment, so that you're going to not only learn how to do the job, but also you can get a feel to see like, okay, if I was hired on to do something, is this something that I would want to do? Right. So,
and then you do role matching, which is like training modules, right? And
it's a roadmap. It's a roadmap. Yeah. So a lot of people, they're like, well, how do I know when I'm ready to apply to jobs, right? Because you could be learning cybersecurity, but it's a never-ending rabbit hole, right? Just like law, I would imagine as well, where it's like no one knows every aspect of every law of everything.
Wait a second. Hold on. Except for legal mindset. No,
but like in law, right? There's this expectation where if you specialize in something, you're not feeling like an imposter because you don't know every detail of some completely other focus area, right? Is that right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, that's 100% right. And that's why you have friends, or you Google it, right? Or, like you can look it up, you can look up the information, or you can call your friend who's a specialist, right? And we all do that. Everybody who's sane does that. You call somebody or you get specialized information. Right. And there are people that are specialists and there are people who are generalists. I'm a generalist, right? Which is why I do better with streaming format, because I can cover a lot of things generally, right? So that's very, very good information. Jack Triss says, all my homies played Free Cell and Doom 95. Okay.
That's one of the biggest challenges I was saying, though, with cybersecurity is it's less kind of siloed than that. And so people have this imposter syndrome thinking that they need to know everything. So the biggest challenge that I noticed of like people learning this on their own is like they think that they need to know everything, and that's an impossible task. So they just keep studying and studying and studying and never apply to jobs, or never think they're ready to apply to jobs, or maybe they try to apply to a few, get rejected, and then they get discouraged. So with the program, you'll have like a roadmap where it's spelled out step by step, like, okay, here's the things that I need to complete, and then I know that I'm job ready. And I'm basing that off of, like I said, me being on the other side, interviewing candidates for the job. So at every step in the process, you'll know exactly how far you are on that path.
And here's the biggest thing, which I think is valuable. And guys, this, now, we'll get into the course and the cost and all that stuff, but this is the thing that's kind of invaluable, because I've been in a lot of different group chats and stuff like that. And I will tell you, these Telegram chats and these that are these lifetime group chats, I am in like 2 or 3 of them where I have made so many friends. Like Ryan and I are friends because of a group chat.
Actually, because
Right.
of that, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, because of that, right? So you get 24/7 DM and lifetime group chat access. So that's super massive, like super huge value. Weekly career advisory calls.
Yeah, these
guaranteed.
are just optional
You're just going
calls
through-
where you can just jump in and ask any questions that you have. So also give you the peace of mind of what you're putting your time into is the best thing that you could be working on, because that's another thing. Like I would give a truck driver different advice than I would give like a programmer trying to get into cybersecurity, right? And even on my YouTube channel, I do the best I can with the free content, but I have to speak to a more general audience. So in this way, you can get like direct feedback and a direct answer to the questions based on your goals and where you're at.
And then you do guaranteed job experience, meaning you're giving people real world experience through these like freelance cybersecurity contracts, right?
Exactly, right. So what I was saying earlier in the stream was that there's a lot of things that you can do with cybersecurity outside of the realm of the 9 to 5. And so I actually am doing that myself, where I have these freelance contracts coming in, and for people to go through my program that I know, okay, this person knows how to do the job. They have the skill set. I'm basically leveraging my position to vouch for you and give you out the freelance contract. And we go through all the formal documentation, scoping, and kickoff meeting and everything like that. I turn you loose on a 1-week security engagement, and you perform the engagement, write up a report. We send it off to the client. That way, by the time you go to apply to your first job, you can actually irrefutably prove that you have experience, which is the biggest thing that is like the gatekeeper type of thing for getting a job in the current job market. Because I mean, you might have heard that it's like really difficult, it's really competitive right now. Well, the one thing that a lot of these people have in common is they don't have any experience. So it solves that kind of chicken and the egg problem that a lot of people are faced with.
Got
And
it.
a lot of people have had success with that specifically in the program as well.
And then you've got an inbound offer engine. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so throughout my 10-year career, this might sound surprising to a lot of people, but throughout my 10-year career, I never once had to formally apply to a job, meaning
That's insane.
I'd never had to submit my resume into some like automation and just like hope for the best. And the reason for that is I built up like a portfolio and everything in such a way that I had offers reaching out to me. I had like recruiters reaching out. And so a lot of it was centered around LinkedIn and kind of finding ways to create my own experience and build out my portfolio with all these things that I could have those opportunities. So the way it looked for me is that, anytime I wanted a job, I would check my LinkedIn and there would always be like a steady stream of recruiters reaching out to me. And so anytime I wanted a job, I would just follow up on those. I remember, quick segue here, but I remember when I was working for the government, when I was working for the VA as a contractor, this was around the pandemic times. You might remember that, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And as a government employee, they were saying that, okay, if you work for the government, you're required to get the vaccine. They're like, if you don't,
Yes.
we're going to fire you.
The
That's what they said.
mandatory jab. I remember that. I
Mhm.
remember that.
So they had this portal at the company and they said, okay, you have 1 month to put your vaccine records in this portal or you're going to be terminated.
Bro,
And I was like, yeah. I was like, all right, time to follow up on these LinkedIn reach outs. So I started, responding back to the recruiters and I started talking to this one and I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds like a pretty good opportunity. Let me just follow up on this in the background, see what happens. Well, it got closer to that deadline and the HR lady reaches out to me on a private call. And she's like, hey, I see that you haven't put your information in the portal yet. Are you going to do that by the end of the day today, or would you like to be terminated? I was like, oh yeah, go ahead and terminate me. Wait, what?
Yeah.
She was like,
bro.
Wait, really?
Based.
Yeah, go ahead.
Based. Based.
Hang on. We'll get back to you. So she was not prepared for that. So she was like, "We'll get back to you."
Based.
Well, it comes
so
down
good.
to like it's like months late. It's like a month later. She didn't get back to me because they're trying. And then everyone at my job too. They're like, "Oh man, I was gonna say that, but I decided it was not worth it." Yeah, mad respect
Cuck.
to you, this and that, right? Everyone came out in private, right? No, everyone was quiet
Yeah.
on the call because it's always the loud minority that people don't
Right.
want to offend. But
Right.
the majority of the people, they think that in a rational way, right? So they're secretly, all these people are coming to me in private and being like, "Oh dude, yeah, that was awesome, I was gonna do that."
Bro, yeah, I wish I would do that, bro. I was gonna do that, man. This is ridiculous, but yeah, I got it.
But yeah, I just kept following up on that reach out from LinkedIn, and it turned into an opportunity where that was when I raised my salary from 100K to 166, and started working at Dell.
Yeah,
and I accepted that offer. And I remember like a day or two after I accepted that offer, the HR lady like segued back with me. She's like, "Oh, hey, I have good news. You can stay. You don't have to submit your information." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm out of here. Sorry, too late." But that's kind of what.
Sorry, Karen. I'm out of it.
But yeah, when you have like a really solid experience and background, and not only having that, but knowing how to position that, knowing how to frame that, knowing how to market yourself with that, then that allows you to have these more flexibility, more control. So even when these black swan events like the pandemic or who knows what could happen next comes up, you'll be in the best position to have the most options.
Let me answer some of these questions here. Jack Choi says, "I was studying to become a patent lawyer, and then I took an error in a knee." That's funny. Arthur Murphy 5 says, "Nothing wrong with training, but be realistic. Expect 50K for your first job if it's your first." Just trying to bring this down to reality. What do you think about 50K as the range?
I personally haven't really seen it. Now, I know like in America in general right now, because there is a, let's just say that the job search is heavily in the favor of the employer at the moment. There might be a lot of companies that try to take advantage of that and lowball. So it is maybe possible, but personally what I've seen is, around
like people coming out of your
lower
program.
than like 60 or 70K. Like no one in my program has landed a job for less than like 70K, I would say.
That's not unreasonable. 70K is the starting salary.
And especially if you can get remote and you can come here, like 70K in like Thailand or the Philippines,
or Vietnam or Bali. It's
what I say all the time. It's not just about how much you make; it's about how much you keep. So if you can, change up your life situation where you can make that money go further, then you can make it work.
Yeah, exactly. It's about like what are your costs versus your expenses. Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. Also, Mayhem says, off topic, when your stream going through the 1,000-page apology job, we need a 12-hour stream for you to match Lydia's. No, not happening. We will have a mock trial, though. We're going to do that. Okay, so we'll get into, so how to contact you, and then we'll get the, the link here. So if you are interested in his course, right, you can buy his course right now for a discount. That's the Sigma Mindset way to do it. You get a 25% discount. The link is there in the description. I'll show you guys. It is the discounted rate is $3,000, right? But if you want the full cost, that's that's the beta tiny version. You can set up a call with him. If he's got to do the call, right, it's going to cost more. Get the discount, and the price is going to go up. You're going to increase the price in 1 month, correct?
Yeah, after Cyber Monday and all that, I'm going to raise it again. Yep.
And the mindset guarantee is if you are not satisfied with Ryan's program, I will personally kick Ryan in the balls. I added that there. That's a personal guarantee.
He knows where I live, guys.
He does know where I live. But what would you say to people that because I'll pull this up. What would you say to people that say 3,000? That's expensive for a program. Like, what would you respond to that? What would you respond to that objection?
Well, I would first ask like expensive compared to what, right? Because you know there's if you're weighing that in your mind, then you're thinking of a certain thing that you're anchoring that to. So what I would say is if we think in the grand scheme of things, right, if you land a cybersecurity job and you're making like 70,000 a year, I mean, I'm not the best at math off the top of my head, but like your first paycheck is going to pay for most, if not all of that. And so what I would say as well is like, look, the reason that me and you met because we were in a training that was like what some
Like
people would
this.
say expensive, right?
I paid
And
$1,000
so-
for it. I paid $1,000.
I wouldn't even know you now if it wasn't for that, right?
Yeah, I paid $1,000 to be bros with Ryan, and it's 100% worth it. Like that. Like
And,
if you
and
just
even
told
on
me,
the YouTube thing, right? Like, because
Yeah.
you knew people that were in the YouTube space and stuff like that. If you didn't, spend money on the expensive training, like, would you even have this platform right now? I don't know.
I wouldn't be on YouTube.
I probably wouldn't. I probably
I
wouldn't.
wouldn't be on YouTube. My roommate got me into YouTube. He did everything for me in the beginning. My freaking roommate, a 19-year-old, dropped out of college. He dropped out of college to do YouTube, and he taught me how to do it. Right, college dropout. Right, literally now he makes six figures. He's doing great. Shout out to Tom. Right, but you don't do it unless you kind of take the chance. And if you look at it compared to paying a bunch for university, paying a bunch for other sort of training, and even if you look at other cybersecurity, it's within that sort of range, right?
Yeah.
Not compared to the college tuition. Yeah, college tuition is way more expensive. So if it's, hey, this is practical training that's going to get you something, right? Like that's much different than at college where you have no promises. No promises.
And I think
all.
I saw a stat the other day with like the unemployment rate of students graduating from like tech degrees. I don't know how accurate this is. This is just a stat that I heard, but
yeah,
I know it's up. Like the unemployment rate on that is way up. I've heard as high as 16% on like certain degrees, like in the tech space, which is crazy because, if you think about how much time and money they're spending, I think overall it might be around 6%, but in other words, it's like the highest it's ever been of like people graduating from college and not being able to land a job because they don't have the skills.
Let's see here. Someone asked, do you have payment plans?
Yeah, I have some payment plan options and financing and things like that. Yep.
And so cool.
Yeah,
That was
just
asked by
reach
two
out to me on that, and if that's what it comes down to, just reach out to me on that, and we can work something out.
Okay, cool. What's the best way for them to reach out to you? Just go submit the form on your website.
Either email me or Instagram. Either way.
Okay, cool. And let me just show the real quick form. So if you go to the link once again, this is the discounted rate. You've got it right here. Boom. You're going to pop this open, and this is the discounted rate right there. You pop in your contact information. You can do PayPal. You can do a credit card. It's got all the information here.
Yep. And if because you're not doing this from the U.S., but if you are from the U.S., then you'll also see some financing options available there. Like I got Afterpay and Klarna and stuff like that. So if you want to split it up further, then you might not even need to contact me. You can just go to that link and do it there.
And just do it directly. Oh, what do you also say? Here's the really dweeby objection that I want to bring up. Oh, Ryan, can't I just look this all up on ChatGPT? Can't I just look this up for free?
Well, the reality is with any kind of information like training and stuff, it's not that the information is only known by the expert and no one else. It can't be found anywhere else. Like even law, right? Like,
yes,
is everything to do with law somewhere written out there on a website? Yeah,
no,
probably.
no.
But you would have to not on one website.
Not
but
everything.
I mean, I mean,
It's
collectively,
out there.
right?
Collectively,
but think about how lucky you would have to be and persistent you would have to be to make that happen. How long that would take? Because it's all scattered. It's all like random, right? So as an expert lawyer or something, you could look at it and be like, okay, this is out of the ChatGPT response. This part is good. This part is BS, right? But you wouldn't know that. So that's the whole problem. It's not that you can't find the information. It's that you can't sort through the information. Back in my Father's Day and all of that, it's like, oh, I hope the library has the right book to get the information that I need here. Now we have like the opposite problem. It's like the information overload. So the reason that you would get into a training and stuff is to shortcut that and have someone to be able to tell you, hey, all of this infinite stuff that you could be learning, let's cut out like 90% of that and just focus on this 10% here. And that's going to get you to where you want to go. So this is the reason that it took me like 3 years of self-studying on my own, whereas my students are getting into the field in like 6 months. So even if you think about like
6 months, so going in and then 6 months, boom, they're in the field.
Yeah, from the time you start.
Of course, you have to grind, you have to put in the work, right? But if you're willing to put in the work,
not everyone's doing it in 6 months, but many people have. I would say usually between like let's say 6 to 8 months. 8 months is like if you're a little bit slower. Learning the stuff, maybe you're coming from an unrelated background, then that's
if you're me, it'd be like 2 years. It'd be like 5 years before I learn it. But no. I mean, it's achievable, right? It's something that's definitely doable within a time period, right? If you dedicate yourself to it. And once again, a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what to do and I don't know what to do to make money. Okay, well, put yourself on a track where you can, develop yourself and you can grow. And this is a field that, once again, cybersecurity, a field that's only going to grow. It's not going to go away. Like, can you talk about like the resiliency for the future of the field as a whole?
Oh yeah, it's actually, we're going to see a huge spike in the need for cybersecurity because of AI. And that's something that I think a lot of people are surprised by, is because there's this, this notion that AI is going to take a lot of jobs straight up, but with cybersecurity, it's actually having the opposite effect. One thing that I can share with you guys really briefly is that,
by the way, this comment is very right here. You can learn all of it for free, but the plan's direct questions and networking is a huge part of the value. That's
exactly. Yeah. I didn't even touch on a lot of that stuff, but yeah, the networking, well, we touched on it, collectively earlier, right? Yeah. With like that aspect, and learning cybersecurity is a tough thing. So it's always a lot more motivating when you have people learning alongside of you and things like that. But yeah, going back to the whole future proofing of it. If you think about have you heard of vibe coding?
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah, so that's a big thing right now, where it's like the whole use case of it is like, oh, we don't need our developers anymore because.
Can you explain that for everybody else though?
Yeah, vibe coding is basically like you're just chatting with the chat bot and having it write the code for you. You're just telling it what you want it to build, and it's like spitting out the code.
That's so crazy.
This was something that I believe it started in like 2023. It's relatively new. But all of the focus on it has gone towards just getting it to generate code that actually works. Because in 2023, only 20% of the time did it produce code that actually worked. The other 80% of the time, there was like errors in the code. Like, it didn't even work.
That's not good.
So they, and everyone wants to be like, it's just like this arms race. Everyone wants to rush to say they're the first to market with AI, and they want to market themselves like an AI first company and all this stuff, right? So all of the emphasis has just been put on that end. But even back in 2023, there were companies that looked at the security issues. They scanned the code for security flaws in the generated code. And even in 2023, it was over 50% of the time it would generate vulnerable code, meaning,
oh wow,
it would give you code that is like not secure, right? Now they took that 20%. Remember, it only compiled correctly 20% of the time without errors. Now they got it to like 95 or 90%. It's something like that.
Okay.
But the number of vulnerabilities still over 50%. There's been no traction whatsoever in that area. Because even before, for those of you guys that have ever tried to learn programming, like every developer before used to go on a site called Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
And they would,
yep.
you know about that.
Yeah, I know Stack Overflow.
It would suggest you a way that might work, but it's probably not the most secure way to do it, because it's just like a proof of concept or something like that. Now, the AI doesn't really take that into account. There's just like learning from all of these sources. Some are credible, some are less credible. So it's just trying to find something that will work, not necessarily the secure way to do it. And if you think about the use case of, okay, we want to replace our developers with this AI thing, well, how many of those people that are just running the AI that aren't developers, what is the likelihood that they'll be able to catch an issue like that?
Right.
Where, the code works, but it's not secure. They would have no idea, right? Even developers have a hard time sometimes knowing what's secure and what's not. And that was an issue even before. But if you think about like these companies, because they're using the vibe coding, now they're churning out code at like 10 times the rate. That's another use case. They can develop faster. Well, if every time they're doing that, there's 50% chance that there's security issues in that, and they're just stacking that on top of each other. I mean, how many vulnerabilities do you think there's going to be in like 5
Yeah, there's
years?
going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot.
So I only see it creating more demand for cybersecurity in the future.
Hika for 5 says, for Ryan, independent versus corporate, what would you recommend for people starting out as entry level?
Yeah, I would actually recommend the corporate side starting out, because it helps to it helps to build your reputation and stuff, to show that, hey, I've done this professionally. I've done it for XYZ company. And then from there, if you want to get into the contracting stuff, doing stuff independent, it's just a little bit easier. Not to say that you can't start out with the independent side. It's just going to be harder to get off the ground with that if you don't have that track record.
Let's see. Phil with an F as a new member. Thank you. Just an old guy says cybersecurity and compliance will grow. I agree about that. I was compliant. So he's cybersecurity. I was compliance. Yes. Yes. So yeah, just be prepared to move beyond the basics. You will have to become a multidisciplined technologist.
Yeah, that's why it's Elevate Cyber.
I see what you did there. That's a mindset legal idea. I like it. For 5, the password managers can give you some examples you recommend, i.e. Bitwarden, 1Password, VPN companies, versions, etc.
I've heard Bitwarden's pretty good. You probably use that. Like I said, you won't really go wrong with any of them as long as you have a strong master password. If everything comes down to like your risk tolerance or whatever. If you want to get really guarded with it, you might want to see, okay, which ones have had the most security issues in the past and go with one that hasn't. But again, that's only one metric, because maybe you find a new company and that's a bit of a risk. They don't have any big public issue yet, but maybe they will. So I would go with one that's like well established, that doesn't have too much of a history of having problems.
Got it. And okay. I think we got through all the questions. That's awesome. So Ryan, any other thoughts? Any other last things to say here? Obviously, guys, once again, his link is pinned for the course the Cyber Accelerator program in the chat. I'm going to put it in the comments. It's in the description. His YouTube is there. I'm going to add your other social media as well. He's got X. He's got Instagram. Any last things you want to drop, bro?
No, yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Well, appreciate you being on, guys. Once again, please say thank you to Ryan. He's been a great sport today. He's put up with all of our BS. And it's always fun to introduce people to the internet, because it's so ridiculous what goes on in these lawsuits. But I think it's kind of funny, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit too crazy.
All right, brother. Well, thank you. Hey, guys, thank you very much. Please say thank you to Ryan. Guys, stay based, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And you back. We're off.